Have you ever stopped to think that our body is talking to us all the time? Every detail, every change in sensation, every symptom that appears is a way for the body to communicate. The problem is that, in the fast pace of modern life, most people don't take the time to listen to these signals. We end up attributing everything to stress, to our busy schedules, to overwork, or even to aging. But often, behind symptoms that seem simple, there is something much bigger happening. Diabetes is a perfect example of this. It is often called a silent disease because it can develop for years without strong symptoms. But in reality, it is not silent at all. The body speaks, and it speaks a lot, but in a subtle, discreet, almost hidden language. They are small messages that, if ignored, can turn into serious complications. But if they are noticed in time, they can make all the difference for your health and even save lives. Today, diabetes is considered one of the most common health conditions in the world. According to estimates from the World Health Organization, more than 500 million people live with the disease. And what is most concerning, a large portion of them still do not know they have diabetes. This means that millions of people, right now, are living with signs they believe are normal, but in reality, they are warnings the body is sending. That is why this video is so important. Today, we are going to talk about 10 signs that may indicate the presence of diabetes without you even realizing it. I will explain why they happen, the logic behind each symptom, and how paying attention to these details can completely change the course of your health. And let me give you a heads up. Stay with me until the end, because the last sign is one of the most overlooked by people with diabetes. Almost no one pays attention to it at first, but it may actually be the most dangerous. When we talk about diabetes, many people immediately think of blood tests and numbers such as fasting glucose or HbA1c. But the truth is that, even before these numbers start to change, the body already begins to show signs that something isn't working properly. It's as if the body were turning on little red warning lights, trying to get your attention. The problem is that, in the middle of our busy routines, these signs often go unnoticed, or are mistaken for common situations like stress, poor diet, lack of sleep, or simply getting older. And that's exactly where the danger lies. The longer diabetes goes undiagnosed, the more silently it leaves its marks on the body. Excess glucose circulating in the blood starts to affect blood vessels, nerves, eyes, kidneys, and even the heart, without you noticing right away. That's why recognizing the symptoms and paying attention to the warning signs can make all the difference. Often, a simple observation of what is happening in your daily life can anticipate a diagnosis that, if delayed, could bring serious consequences. In today's video, we're going to break down 10 common signs that may indicate diabetes. Some may seem harmless, others may be mistaken for trivial issues, but all of them carry an important message. Your body is asking for attention. Pay close attention to each one, because you may have already experienced some of these symptoms without giving them the importance they deserve. And remember, identifying them early is the key to living better, preventing complications, and in many cases, achieving healthy long-term control. Sign 1. Excessive thirst, polydipsia. Constant thirst is one of the first signs the body gives when blood sugar is high. The reason is simple. When there is too much sugar circulating, the kidneys try to eliminate this glucose through urine. This process leads to greater fluid loss and, as a consequence, the body activates a natural alarm, intense thirst. Everyday example. You drink a large glass of water and, within less than half an hour, you already feel the need to drink again. This can even happen at night, waking you up several times to look for water. Scientific insight. Studies show that polydipsia is one of the most reported symptoms at the time of type 1 diabetes diagnosis, but it also appears in many undiagnosed cases of type 2 diabetes. Sign 2. Frequent urination, polyuria. Thirst and the urge to urinate are closely connected. As the body tries to eliminate excess glucose through urine, the bladder fills more quickly than normal. This makes the person go to the bathroom many times during the day, and even at night. Practical example. If you used to sleep through the night without interruptions but now have to get up 2 or 3 times to urinate, this could be a warning sign. Impact on daily life. Besides being exhausting, polyuria can lead to dehydration and fatigue, reducing concentration at work and lowering sleep quality. Backhand index pointing right. If you want to know the next signs and stay up to date with scientific content about diabetes, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Sign 3. Excessive hunger, polyphagia. Have you ever eaten a full meal and, shortly after, felt as if you hadn't eaten at all? That could be polyphagia. It happens because, even though there is plenty of glucose in the blood, it cannot properly enter the cells, either because insulin is missing or not working correctly. The body interprets this as a lack of energy and triggers constant hunger. Real-life example. Many people report eating a full meal, including carbohydrates, and soon after reaching for something sweet, as if they were still empty inside. Difference: unlike ordinary hunger, diabetes-related hunger often comes with fatigue and, in some cases, even irritability. Sign 4. Fatigue and chronic tiredness. Feeling tired once in a while is normal, but with diabetes this sensation becomes constant. The body cannot efficiently turn glucose into energy, and the result is a fatigue that doesn't go away, not even after a full night's sleep. Everyday example. Climbing stairs, carrying grocery bags, or performing simple tasks feels like it requires enormous effort, even when you haven't overexerted yourself physically. Scientific insight. This symptom is so common that, in research studies, more than half of patients with diabetes reported experiencing intense fatigue in the months leading up to their diagnosis. Sign 5. Unexplained weight loss. This is one of the most striking signs, especially in type 1 diabetes. When the body cannot use glucose as energy, it starts to consume fat stores, and even muscle. This leads to rapid weight loss, without dieting or exercising. Clinical example. A person may lose 9 to 13 pounds, 4 to 6 kilograms, in just 1 month, even while eating the same amount of food, or even more, due to excessive hunger. Warning: this symptom is often overlooked by those who believe they are losing weight naturally. But when it appears together with thirst, frequent urination, and fatigue, it can be a clear warning sign of diabetes. Sign 6. Blurred vision. High blood sugar causes temporary changes in the eye's lens, making vision blurry or unfocused. This symptom can appear and disappear depending on glucose levels. Practical example. Many people visit an eye doctor thinking they need new glasses, but the real issue is metabolic, not optical. Curiosity. In the long run, diabetes can lead to serious complications such as diabetic retinopathy, which is one of the leading causes of blindness worldwide. That's why blurred vision should never be ignored. Sign 7. Slow healing wounds. Excess blood sugar makes circulation more difficult and slows down tissue regeneration. This means that a small cut or blister can take weeks to heal. Common example. Blisters caused by new shoes, which would normally heal in a few days, can turn into persistent wounds. Clinical importance. In more severe cases, especially on the feet, this delayed healing can lead to serious infections, making medical follow-up essential. Sign 8. Frequent infections. High blood sugar levels create the perfect environment for fungi and bacteria. This increases the risk of recurring infections, such as urinary tract infections, yeast infections, and skin infections. Example in women, recurrent vaginal yeast infections, even after treatment, are one of the signs that should raise suspicion of diabetes. Example in men, frequent skin infections, such as boils, can also be an indicator. Curiosity. Some studies suggest that people with undiagnosed diabetes are up to 3 times more likely to experience repeated infections. Sign 9. Tingling and numbness, neuropathy. When blood sugar remains high for too long, it damages the peripheral nerves, especially in the hands and feet. This leads to sensations of tingling, burning, or even numbness. Real-life example. Patients often describe the feeling as walking on cotton or stepping on ants. Complication. If left untreated, this symptom can progress to loss of sensation in the feet, increasing the risk of serious injuries without the person realizing it. Sign 10. Mood changes and difficulty concentrating. The brain depends on glucose to function properly. When blood sugar levels are unstable, it is common for emotional and cognitive symptoms to appear: irritability, nervousness, memory lapses, and difficulty focusing on simple tasks. Everyday example. Someone who is always calm may become more short-tempered, or a highly productive worker may start forgetting important details. Curiosity. Studies already show that frequent glucose spikes are linked to a higher risk of depression and long-term cognitive decline. Conclusion. What these 10 signs mean. These 10 signs show how diabetes can manifest itself in subtle but persistent ways. The problem is that, many times, they are mistaken for everyday issues: fatigue, stress, poor diet, or aging. That is why so many people take too long to seek help. But the truth is, the earlier diabetes is detected, the greater the chances of living well, preventing complications, and even achieving remission in some cases. The body speaks, and our mission is to learn how to listen to it. Pay attention to each of these signs, remembering that they are just signs, not necessarily definitive symptoms, because you may have already experienced some of them without giving them the importance they deserve. And remember, early detection is the key to living better, preventing complications, and in many cases, achieving healthy long-term control. Diabetes may be called a silent disease, but after today you already know, it speaks, and it speaks through the body. The signs are there, often discreet, asking for attention. And ignoring them can come at a high cost. But it is also important to remember, finding out early makes all the difference. Early diagnosis can prevent complications, preserve your quality of life, and, in many cases, allow you to live fully, healthily, and actively, even with diabetes. If your body is sending signals, or if you've noticed that someone close to you is showing some of these signs, don't wait. Seek medical guidance, ask for the proper tests, and take this step toward care. Because when it comes to health, time is always either an ally or an enemy, and the choice depends on how you act right now. And never forget, diabetes is not the end of life, it is the beginning of a new way of living. With medical care, information, and conscious choices, it is possible to have energy, balance, and a future full of possibilities. If this video made sense to you, share it with someone who needs to hear this message. You might help someone discover diabetes in time to change their story. And of course, subscribe here to Diabetes in Everyday Life to keep receiving reliable, up-to-date, and human content, created to help you understand, take care of yourself, and live better. A big hug, take good care of yourself, and see you in the next video.